Hello and welcome. I'm Deborah from the Bloom Closet, and I stepped out of the shed today. I'm in the garden. It's such a beautiful day. I have a lovely backdrop of my English violets. The red bud is just about to bloom. The Miss Kim lilac is just about to bloom. Our irises are getting tall, and it's just a lovely time of the year. This is a special video I'm doing to pay tribute to our mothers and grandmothers. When I think of my mother, I think of violets, and when I see violets, I think of my mother. She loved them dearly and had a lot growing in her backyard, and would pick them and put them in a vase on the kitchen table. Kind of a homey remembrance. She gave me a nice gift of remembering her that way. She loved to entertain, and she had nice afternoon teas and bridal showers, and would do fancy desserts using her crystallized violets. She would have little pinafores that she would put the violets on, or cookies, and she even used a little violet crystallized on the top of a sugar cube. So she would have her sugar bowl set out with several sugar cubes with the violets on top. They're very, very pretty. I'm going to show you the method I use to crystallize. It's fairly simple. You only need a couple of things. You need the white of an egg, and you need superfine sugar, sometimes called berry sugar, fruit sugar. Now, if you don't happen to have that or can't find it in your store, put some regular caster sugar in your food processor and process it. It will become exactly like you buy. Very fine, quite a lot finer than the sugar. The egg white, mix it up with just a teeny bit of water. Don't mix it up so it's too frothy. You don't want it to become meringue. just mix it up so it's a little bit easier to use, not quite so rubbery. I have heard of people putting a little bit of vodka in instead of water. A real good reason to use that is vodka dries quickly, a little bit more quickly than water, so it has its pros. I'm just using water today. So get a little bowl with your egg white. You're going to need a paintbrush. So grab your bloom. Keep a nice stem on so you can have something to hold on to, although you don't typically eat the stems. Dip your paintbrush into the egg white. Start painting the underside and the front side of the violet. Then shake some sugar on. The egg white, of course, makes it stick. Tap it off a little and lay it on a piece of parchment paper. Also, put it on a little cake trivet. Leave it there for a few hours or longer. it needs to be dry before you use it as a decoration. So that is a violet. I like to use buds also. Just like when I do my flower arrangements, I always like to put buds in. If I put roses, I also put the rose buds and so on. It makes it a little bit more natural looking. So I'm going to do a bud. Okay. Now, as well as violets, a nice flower to use is the pansy or viola. I guess I tend to use the violas because they're smaller, a little bit more dainty. This is a real tiny one. And all of these are completely edible. And if you grow them in your own garden, you know if they've had pesticides or not. You should avoid that. So here's a viola doing the same thing, absolutely the same thing. And when you finish, they should really nice. They taste good too. A little bit peppery maybe, but not so much that it tastes weird on a sweet. So no, I see I missed a few spots. Go back and fill in if you think you missed a few spots with the egg white. Makes no difference. And you can put as much or as little of the sugar on as you wish. Of course, the more sugar you put on, the less of the real flour you see, but it might be better. Now these can be kept in an airtight jar or even a Tupperware in, as they say, a dry, cool place for a long time, a year, maybe. You probably won't need to use them for a year. I have previously done some petals which are dried. Now, when they're dry, you'll be wanting to snip off the stem, but they just turn out so cute. There's some buds and a pretty pansy. It's a real preservative of the flower. You may have dried flowers in the past by putting them in a book. This is another way, and they last quite nicely, and they're very, very summery looking. Thank you for joining me. I hope you all have a lovely Mother's Day, and you think about your mother and the gifts that she gave you. We're going to show some pictures of the finished product. I made a nice Victorian sponge cake and decorated it with the violets and violas myself. Thank you. We'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.